Hey, universe. This is not a show per se, but we did make a promise that some Mets fans and Braves fans would hop on tonight at the conclusion of today's doubleheader. And as you can see, Joker, 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 three Mets. Mets pull up the sweep today. David's got two hats on.
One for each game. Had to switch them off.
There you go. There you go.
Nice. Tim St. Clair's here.
What's up?
My birth certificate says Joseph Buckholtz. That's what they call me at the Social Security office. So, all right, boys. I don't have the information in front of me, but the Mets are what? 19 and
18.
18 and 8.
18 and 8. They have guaranteed that they will not lose this series.
Yep.
If they win tomorrow, they will have won 8 straight series.
9.
Is it 9?
9, I think. I think it's
no. This is the 8th series.
Oh, it's the 8th. Right.
Yeah.
That's right. 8.
Someone and we each belong to several different groups, but someone, I think she's actually a member of the universe. Her name is Nancy Razzo. She is a Braves fan, and she, in good fun, posted an April trophy for the Mets. Which I love because we're going to just keep collecting those.
Now we'll get a May trophy.
We're going to get a May. We're going to get all of them.
Yep.
And hopefully it leads to a bigger thing. But now we've all been fans for years and years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
We've had – now I made the mistake in 2005 or 6.
Sure.
The year whatever year they lost to the Cardinals in the championship.
2006.
06.
Yeah.
I was in my head.
I blame the taxi cab system in Miami, Florida on that World Series.
I was in my head, I was printing World Series tickets in like June.
Yeah.
And we've had some great teams since then. We went to the World Series in 15.
Playoffs in 16.
Yep. 16. Yeah. 16, that's right. This particular team, there's something different. Obviously, the ownership's different. We've got a manager that knows what he's doing.
That's it. The two words, Buck Showalter.
Yeah.
He brings a preparation to every game that we've never had before. I loved Willie Randolph. I wanted him to do well. He was a Tilden guy. That's where my dad went to high school. I rooted for him so much, even though he was a Yankee. He was a lousy manager. Jerry Manuel never should have been in place. Terry Collins, great dude, not a good manager. He would never be in their top 5 for game strategists.
Yep.
Callaway had no clue, unfortunately. Rojas, God bless him. I think he's going to be a great manager someday. He needed more time to be a pro coach, and I think one day he'll do a great job. But I think honestly, since Davey Johnson, this is the first. Davey Johnson, because it was Bobby Valentine.
Yeah.
3 managers in 40 years that you could hang a hat on as being top handful in the game. Davey, Valentine, and Buck.
Yeah.
That's a big difference,
Yep.
So in watching I watched some of Game 1 today. I watched most of Game 2. One of the things that Gary and Zeal keep talking about is one of the differences between this year's team and last year's team. Obviously, we've mentioned ownership and Buck Showalter. They are playing this kind of old school version of baseball that we love, moving guys over, stealing bases, gap hit. So it's a completely different feel than it has been the last couple of years. It's just so much fun.
I think go ahead.
No, you go.
I was listening to Howie on the radio. Someone said it, that they were talking about Billy Martin, and someone wrote a book about Billy Martin, and Buck wrote the foreword, and he was like, he's like the last branch of a Billy Martin coaching tree, because he was a base coach, early on. I don't know the exact timeline, but like it's that kind of style, which is good. It's fun.
The Mets made an interesting move when they grabbed Chavez from the Yankees.
Yeah. Yep.
And we made him a full hitting coach, right? I was listening to some interviews, and the players uniformly have said what they love about the combination of Chavez and Barnes as the hitting coaches.
Yeah.
They're not coming in with their idea of how to
Yeah.
hit. They go to the hitters. They say, what do you want? Do you want lots of information? Do you want little information? Do you want no information? Do you want to know how I think you're doing? Do you want to know what they're putting things out there. And besides having finally state-of-the-art camera equipment and video equipment, which Wilpons would never spring for, they have a say in their own hitting. And we have to be honest, right? A guy like Jeff McNeil, he's 29 or 30 years of age. He didn't become this great hitter without knowing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right. He knows how to do things. He was being asked to pull the ball more. He was being asked to hit for power. He had trouble in the clubhouse last year with Lindor, Baez, a couple other guys. There were some people in that clubhouse who were a little troublemakers. And you had Chili Davis taken out in May, replaced with a guy who's only about sabermetrics.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that in this game. And people forget, like, the whole principle of Moneyball, do what other people are not doing.
Yeah.
So it was about on-base percentage. And they of course, they don't talk about what a great pitching staff they had, right, back then, right?
It's not in the movie.
Right, exactly. So what are the Mets doing right now that a lot of people aren't? They're hitting against the shift, away from the shift. Pete Alonso,
three hits to right field today,
and a home run to right field.
Yeah.
Yes. When Pete's going great, he's hitting both fields. Jeff McNeil has been popping him into left field, popping him into right field, popping him center. These guys, they're professionals, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to reinvent them at the major league level. You got to support them. But you know what else you got to do? You got to clear out some of the noise.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure every one of these guys has their high school coach, their college coach, their father or their mother, their brother, their best friend. They're all get in their ear.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes the best thing a hitting coach can do is tell them to shut everybody else out, ask them what they want to do, and help them reach that plan. And I think it really is as simple as that.
Yeah.
Hey, John, what's going down?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
We're not giving the fingers tonight, right?
No,
no fingers tonight, guys.
we got 4 Mets fans here now. We may have Laura here shortly. I told her she's on her way home, so I said
she's on her way home, Joey. Yep, you saw that.
Okay. Let me give you a hat. you're the only one sans chapeau here.
So, John, we were talking about how this team just feels different than last year, and some of the things that we were talking about were just how the coaches are taking a different teaching approach. They're actually adapting to the learning preference of their players and how important that is. And Tim knows that better than anyone here, being a teacher, how important that is to identify how someone learns information. Are they a visual learner? Do they like to do it? So we're seeing that difference. Obviously, having Buck Showalter, someone who's been there and done that.
Critical.
It's just a lot of fun. I mean, Lindor is having a great year. Alonso's got to be top 5 in RBIs at this point. But
he's got over
the other big difference. Yeah, the other big difference, guys. They brought in some real professionals.
Yeah,
Canha, Scherzer, Marte, and Escobar are all known for being great clubhouse guys, right?
Yeah.
If the 4 of us are going to go to war, you want to know that we have each other's back. You want to know that, in the middle of bombs dropping, you can make a joke and laugh with each other, right?
Yeah.
And if times are really hard, you need the guy next to you or on one side or the other to pick you up, right? And exactly. There somewhere. And, we didn't have that for the longest time. And the other thing is, we talked about Showalter. Rojas wasn't veteran enough in running a clubhouse to recognize when, stuff was going wrong and then how to right it when things got out of hand. The whole thumb thing, I laughed at it, to be honest. It didn't bother me as much as it bothered some, but it's not a good look. And it's not something that you want your players putting out there, especially in the first year of a new ownership.
Yep.
look at
Right.
Lindor, and I think Joey, you were mentioned. Look at him this year. Last year he would smile, and by sometimes the fifth or sixth inning, the smile was gone.
Yeah.
He really looked lost at the plate, but he looked lost like mentally, psychologically.
Can I tell you when I noticed the smile leave? The day Javi Baez was traded to the team. He completely and I was all for Baez when he first. This is gonna be exciting. Lindor, who with the hair, the cleats, the gloves, he thrives on personality. He's a great guy. The smile went away when the trade was made. Right? Like and Baez has always played with a intensity and a fire. Like even when he walks, he's playing angry.
Yeah.
Right? Angry.
Yeah.
And he is a great player, right? He made awesome plays in the field, but he played angry and he made it seemed to me, at least to me, that it made Lindor a little angry.
And the right thing is they're really good friends and they know each other a long time.
Exactly.
To your point, it reminded me of kind of here you have Magic Johnson in Lindor with that smile and then you have Larry Bird coming in Baez, who's that no nonsense.
Exactly.
If Magic and Bird were on the same team, I don't think they would have had the success that people might have thought because of those really different ways of doing things and different approaches.
Yeah.
And I think to your point, you have a team of Lindors this year.
Yeah.
I don't see another Baez in there. But these are pros, right?
Yeah.
Kanaha is a pro's pro, but he's a funny guy apparently. And Scherzer, there's no more serious guy in baseball than Scherzer. He got thrown out from the dugout today for calling balls and strikes, right?
Oh, yeah? I didn't see. I missed part of that. Which game was he tossed in?
Second game.
Second game, right?
But, but yet you look at this guy and everyone laughs at him. They think he's the funniest guy in the world, but you don't cross him.
Yeah,
because he's a tough SOB. That's how you're 37 years old and in a Hall of Fame career, right?
Yeah.
And he picks up and he kind of sets that tone. That's why a guy like him and Buck Showalter in the same clubhouse talk about made for each other, right?
One of my favorite things that I'm seeing this year too, and I've seen it a lot, is when a pitcher comes out of a game, Scherzer and Bassett will pull them together.
Yep.
Not just the pitcher that came out, but the whole staff, and they'll say, "Let's talk about it. What did you see?"
They'll get together.
Oh, it's so cool. It's just like it's just a different feel. John, I can't tell. Are you wearing clothes?
Yes, it's just a little dark.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, it looks like
he's camouflaged in the background, Joe.
Documentary, and like they black it out because they want to like disguise,
the game one today is a game they lose a year ago.
Yeah,
David Peterson.
Yes,
and
I was very
they would lose it. They would score 5 or 6 runs in the 8th inning, and blow it. Yeah.
Even before that, after the 3-run homer to make it 5-4, Peterson would give up 2 or 3 more runs because it happened a few times last year where there'd be a misplay, and it was his own misplay, right? His own misplay today, and the next pitch was the home run, but he settled down and got out of it, and then the bullpen, went to 1-1. But I was thinking about that. I was driving to my son's baseball game today, and you could almost hear it in the radio guys' voices, like, you don't want to have Olsen up with and then first pitch, right? First pitch, and Howie just goes, well, that's deep, and it was almost, there was no Sterling moment where he didn't know it was out or not like that,
right?
But a year ago, Peterson.
Yeah, last year you would have waited for bated breath with that.
For that.
I still am. Honestly, I can't get that out of my system.
I know,
it's hard to.
It is hard to, but it's a different thing because of what you said about the pitchers. You see them; they have a different approach to how to pitch through adversity and to pitch through. Like last night, Bassett, like the or the ref, as someone said on one of the.
I was laughing at that.
He blew a call on Bassett and he got out of it, and the umpire apologized at the end of the inning.
Yeah,
I saw that.
And so, which is a little weird, but Bassett, he didn't get the win, but he worked through that, and so it's different than.
they're having fun and they're playing loose.
Yep.
And Joey, you were talking about how the young pitchers gather around Scherzer and Bassett and in the dugout, but like talking about having fun. I saw a clip. I think it was on Instagram. I think I posted it on one of our pages, where when Showalter makes a pitching change, Escobar and Lindor will play with Showalter. They'll go.
Yes.
They'll pull down his zipper. He'll
Yeah.
play with his ear.
Go like this to his ear. Yeah.
Because
That's
he's
good.
so serious. And Lindor made a comment. He's like, he's so serious. We just have to, play with him.
Yeah.
All innocent, but that's indicative of a team that has cohesiveness, is having fun together. They're they're playing together. They're having fun. They're enjoying themselves, and they're playing loose, and they're playing well as a result of that. Showalter, runs the show. He's a serious dude. He's one of the best managers in the game, and he has been for a long time. But he also lets the guys be who they are. But he also doesn't put up with any nonsense, like you guys were mentioning earlier about the thumbs last year, the fight between McNeil and Lindor. I mean, that would not be tolerated this year. But they're still having fun. That's what a team is all about, and it's exemplified by what's going on. And the talent is allowed to take over too, because these guys are playing loose, and he's letting them go, but he's also controlling the team and running a tight ship. So it's a combination really of everything, and you see it today in the way they played. Even in their losses, they fight.
Yeah,
right.
They fight back. They don't give up.
Yeah.
Have you guys been watching Buck's press conferences?
I've seen a couple.
He is funny as all get out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He is really.
They were showing the Lindor bobblehead the other day. And someone says, Buck, it's not a bobblehead. It's
it's a garden. It's a gnome, right?
It's a gnome, right?
Yeah.
And he says,
the gnome, right?
Man,
That was really
you
funny.
ruined it for me. He said, yeah, you ruined it for me.
Or he
and he said he finally got his Seaver statue. He was so happy.
Yeah. And after the no-hitter, he said something about, the team's been around for 70 years. And so the reporter goes, it's 60 years, Buck. He goes, I was just checking to see if you're listening, if you're paying attention. Little things like that.
You know what else was really about that press conference?
Yeah.
That was really, I thought, indicative of what a different team this is this year. Last year, Diaz only spoke in Spanish.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
He was very self-conscious about his English.
Yeah.
And the guys have been very encouraging of him, especially Lindor.
And McNeil, too.
Yeah, exactly. And so Diaz is really good friends with a lot of the guys on the team, and not only the Hispanic guys. They was kind of getting like a little click in a way, and that stopped. They're all extremely encouraging of Diaz.
Yeah,
a lot of them work with him in the clubhouse. They'll have multilingual conversations, and he finally feels comfortable enough to be able to speak in complete English. And it was like, wow, they only asked one question during the no-hitter in Spanish. I was like, well, that's kind of disrespectful, right? Used to be they would only ask these guys, they would only speak in Spanish.
Yep.
You need a translator. And I was shocked there was only one question. I thought there should have been a lot more in Spanish,
And Gelbs interviewed him on the field after the game on Friday. So he's talking live camera, SNY, to a packed stadium, and he's talking like he's Rowdy Roddy Piper there, Joey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all encouraged.
No, he's comfortable.
Yeah,
he's comfortable, and it translates into, how you pitch and how you play on the field, because they feel really good about where they are, their teammates. That all these guys, and you mentioned Diaz, they know their teammates and their manager and the staff all have their backs.
Yeah,
and so he's not worried about screwing up a word in English. He knows the fans love him, support him. And we all know he's going to blow saves here and there. They all do. They're human. Yeah. But he's going out there, and he is nasty right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's great to see.
With Kalenic not doing anything on Seattle, and Dunn having already been traded, and, Bruce long gone, with Cano being dropped, it's kind of, you almost look at the trade a little differently now. Yeah,
do.
you never want to
Yeah.
give up, 6 years of a top outfield prospect. But if you think about it, we've so far had one not so good year of Diaz. Now this is the third
Third.
third year where he just is lights out. And he's looking this year the way he did for Seattle the year before he got him.
That's correct.
And
Yes.
I'm a huge Angels fan, and I live in SoCal, so I watch every Met game, and then I watch every Angels game.
Mhm.
And I saw Diaz shut the Angels down. I actually saw him make Mike Trout look weak in the knees on a slider that he had no right throwing.
Yeah.
I mean, it broke. They talk about physics with the curveball. They said, no, the ball doesn't rise. I'm sorry. When Diaz is on that mound, that ball does weird things that can be physics defying.
Yep.
And when he's on, man, that stuff is wicked.
Oh, it's unhittable. It truly is. And that's a major, major weapon at the back end of the bullpen. And now I mean, I know guys, I came on a little bit late. If you mentioned anything about Drew Smith, I mean, that guy has been gold.
Yeah.
He hasn't even given up a run yet.
Yep.
Yep. Doesn't Sandy deserve maybe a little less animus from having traded all those guys away, and we got like 5 relievers, not one of them for the longest time, not one of them caught on. But to be fair to Smith, Tommy John surgery, extended rehab from it, or he had another injury. He looks amazing. It was a great point, John. I mean, really great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate about May, but May looks like he's dealing with an injury. He's not as bad. I mean, he's been bad this year, but he's not as bad as what he.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
He's a better pitcher than that. Now Lugo's coming around a little bit.
Yep.
Ottavino has been solid. The bullpen has had meltdowns, but because of the guys that were struggling.
Yep.
Rodriguez, you hope he comes around. He's a needed lefty piece in that bullpen, along with Sheev. The bullpen, if the bullpen comes around and the rotation stays healthy, and obviously, DeGrom is the elephant in the room. If we get him back for the second half and this stretch run, as opposed to only the first half last year, and if he's healthy, you don't expect him to pitch to a 1.08 ERA. But if he's 2, I mean, I think we all do. We were all spoiled by him when he's on the field and he's healthy and performing. But if the offense continues to perform and hit the ball and find holes, and the biggest thing about the offense, I think, is, it's the on-base percentage now. Like they mentioned, the guys, the additions, Kanya, Escobar, all these guys brought, like you mentioned, professionalism to the team and as well as the lineup. But it's the run production for me. And it's coming up with big hits with runners in scoring position and guys getting on base. And then, Marte just brings that element of speed. I mean, he had 47 stolen bases last year. We probably didn't even have that as a team.
I don't think so.
And now he's getting thrown out a little bit. He's very aggressive. I was at the game when he got thrown out at second when Bassett pitched last week, or it was the week before against the Giants. The other game where Showalter was suspended for the game.
Yeah. He's got to be in the games. They're 0-2 without him.
0-2 without him. But he gets overly aggressive. He got thrown out. I was like, you kid at second base. Are you kidding? He's trying to steal with, I think we were down by 4 runs at the time. So he is a little bit overly aggressive, but it pays off. It paid off today.
Yep.
Or maybe it was last night when he got to third base and when he scored on the even though he lost the game, scored on the wild pitch. Yep. But that guy is a lightning rod. And then even throw in a name like Jankowski today.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a guy like that.
Running, right? Beautiful to watch.
Beautiful to watch. He is one of the fastest players probably in the major leagues from the eye test, from looking at him. And he's another guy that gets on base. So you have a bunch of these pains in the asses on the Mets that are pains to, opposing pitchers. They get on base, they score runs, they manufacture runs, and then you have a big bomb every now and then. Obviously, I think that, Alonso will hit more as the year goes on. A lot of these guys
home runs are down too, across the game.
Their home runs are down anyway. Absolutely. Yeah. But a lot of these other guys have sneaky power. Nimmo. So I think that there's a lot. The bullpen comes together and the rotation continues to perform and stays healthy. And overall, we're going to deal with injuries at some point. All teams do. But I don't even then see a weakness. I mean, you have the right manager, you have the right roster. No weaknesses. Yep. Yeah, I'm sorry.
We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have the best starting 9 in the league. We don't have 9 batting order.
Right.
But
No,
we
no
have
doubt.
the most solid
Yeah.
starting. Like you
Ones
look at
we know.
it always used to be like 7, 8, 9 would be like a black
Yeah.
hole.
Automatic. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And you look at McCann at 9, and now McCann's starting to hit. You know,
He
you,
is.
and then you see the top of the order. We've never had a depth where you have Nimmo, and you have
There she
Marte,
is.
and you have Lindor before Alonso. That's like you're expecting Alonso to have 150 RBIs this year without blinking hard.
Right. And McNeil too.
Right.
McNeil has been, I mean, what is he hitting like almost 370 now?
Yeah.
And
380,
he is
something like
getting
that.
back to what he did before, spraying the ball and not looking to hit the home run every at bat. And that's translating into his batting averages, OPS. And he's another guy that looks more comfortable.
Oh yeah. Now wait. So we have a Braves in the house. So let's we never say anything not negative to another team unless it's the Yankees. Let's be real, right? We won 2 games today. We lost last night, so at least we get a split. We still have to recognize the Braves are not only an unbelievable team and organization, they're the World Series champion. So for us, Laura, it's an honor to be able to beat them. For you, it's a couple losses. You'll get over it. Braves will still be incredible. For us, we haven't had a team like this in 6 years.
Yeah.
So don't mind us if we get overly excited by winning a doubleheader. We know it's a long way to go. We know you guys are world champs. And the 2 model organizations that we want to build on are the Braves or the Dodgers.
Yep.
So that you guys are our role model, one of our role models.
Hurt my feelings at all. You should see the group that me and John manage.
Oh, I'm part of it. I see
Did
it.
you know? Did you know?
Tim's getting more involved too. I'm glad to see it.
I'm trying to the dude talked about the refs and he tried to play it off like I meant to do that kind of a thing. I'm like,
Oh no, you as well you should.
Yeah,
because it was funny and it's on point and it's a little bit of trash talking and that's what the group is all about.
Now,
no big deal.
And I said this to you, John and Joey. I said this to you, like we know it's May 3rd. I'm going to the game tomorrow. I'm bringing my mom. I'm very excited. I'm feeling a little sick. I got to call in sick for school tomorrow, but
there's great chicken soup at City Field, so go there and get some. It'll make you feel better.
Right. But if you can't be excited, even if it's April and the beginning of May, like why be a fan if you're not excited out of any 26 game stretch in the season? Like, and I was at the Mets game in Philly the night they fell out of first place for the first time all season last year. So I was there for the beginning of the end, whatever it was, whatever you want to call it. And the Philly fans were throwing a parade. But like if you can't be excited, and I was just like, hey, we'll get it back tomorrow. And then tomorrow never happened. So that's what being a fan is. And being a fan, and I have cousins who live in Atlanta. So I have a lot of Braves ties. When TBS I didn't have Sports Channel when I was in high school. So when the Mets weren't on Channel 9, I watched the Braves. So I watched them go from worst to first. I was a fan of Dave Justice and Ron Gant, and I was watching them in the World Series against the Twins, rooting for the Braves. They were in a different division.
Bob Horner, baby. Bob Horner.
Yeah, they were in the West.
My guy.
Yeah. So, but it's a lot of fun, and it's good think back 20 years ago when the Braves and the Mets were both good and they went up against each other. It was it's fun baseball.
Yeah.
It
was
fun baseball.
It was great.
When Tom Glavine went to the Mets, that was like, are you kidding me? That was like Alexa Bliss. I'm not Alexa. What's her name? Medusa leaving the WWE, going on to WCW and dropping the WWE title in the garbage can.
Yeah.
Tom Glavine going to the Braves.
But he ended up costing you guys in the long run anyway. So
I know.
Yep.
He never got out of that first
That was
inning.
his plan all along.
That was his plan. And
he infiltrated you from the inside out.
So I think I was at his first. He pitched opening day at Shea. I could be wrong. And they lost to the Cubs like 15-2. It was like 30 degrees. I was in that, and Glavine pitched. So that first game from the first, and he had some good games, in between. But then that game against the Marlins where he couldn't get out of that first inning.
That
and
was
then
a nightmare.
The Braves, and then pitches well when he goes back to Atlanta.
In a critical must-win game. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yep. So that's why we say, we're excited because we haven't been there in a while.
Yeah.
and it's fun. But two things: we want to be excited, but we also want to act like we've been there before. So
Yep.
let's not be jerks about anything because it's only May 3rd. Yeah.
Like was it Ace in your group? He put something up. I'm like, dude, it's the 5th inning of the game too. Let's.
Yeah, he does that all the time, though, man.
I know.
He can't help himself.
Yeah.
It's funny
I stayed.
because, like, I get it. I mean, and I know how excited they are. And these kids, they've never seen you win, anything. So it's like,
Yeah.
I get it. And as bad, and I've been through bad years myself as a fan, and a stretch of bad years where, like, I was the only one watching, and it was rough. But I mean, I tip my cap to you guys because since '86, I mean.
7th grade was a long time ago.
Yeah. See, mine was in '95, and I want to say, well, I won't say how old I was, but
2.
I was a kid.
You're 2.
I was 95. I was a senior in college. I remember I was drinking beers, watching them beat the Indians, having a good time with it.
95. I was married, had 2 kids.
Well, there you go.
But I go back to '69 with this team, so I'm an old man.
Laura, can we, for the people that aren't members of NL East Baseball Uncensored, can you formally give us that double bird?
Yeah, we need 2 of them.
Yes.
I can give you one at a time. I've got to hold this thing.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Okay, there's the game one.
All right.
Oh, the other hand. All right,
there you go.
I'm going to be one of those will be made into a baseball card tonight. Probably.
Wait, Joey, you got to put a picture of her with both fingers.
You got to superimpose them.
But then you have to superimpose like Mr. Met on either side with a broom.
Get the Mr. Met, give it his finger.
Oh, that one too, yeah.
You're giving me some
great. I've got these great editing skills.
That's going to be the next time the Mets lose. That'll be my picture I post. Mr. Met giving the finger.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah,
give me some great.
I have the one Mr. Met like this.
Yeah,
the face palm. I had to use that too much a couple of years ago, and I just stopped. I like no more. Too much of it. Yeah.
Laura, what was going on today? Like 3 hours ago, was that post real about the Washington Post? And
no, some guy was trolling, and we actually thought it was like that psycho guy from the old dugout group, John Hughes. But it's always either him or Jordan. And me and John are like constantly blocking profiles where they just keep coming back. It's like a literal pain in the you know what.
Yeah,
I've actually seen that post, that Washington Post post.
Yeah,
in another group. And not only that, but it's clear that that's a cut and paste job, like from Reddit, that's been going around. And apparently,
but I mean,
I never
commenting style in the comments.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's definitely a fake profile.
Yeah.
Because it was a different person that posted it in another group. But then the comments made it clear, even though that was the first time I saw it myself. And when I first read through it, I'm like, this can't be real. I mean, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then I saw people saying, no, this has been going around the internet for years, or at least a couple of years. So,
well, we knew the post
whatever.
wasn't real, but when we read his commenting style, we knew.
Yeah.
The writing style in the comments indicated, that there were people that, and I know, so that was pretty obvious.
Okay.
Laura and John, are there any Marlins fans in the group?
Yes, we have.
There is one.
Okay, there's one. Is Marlin Man in the group?
There's a guy actually in the Utopian that's a Marlins fan that asked about our group within NLE, so I invited him. So I know we have one Marlins fan, and NL East Uncensored has at least the one, maybe a couple.
I'm gonna. Well, we actually have probably about 10.
And it doesn't.
But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it my mission to get more. I've just been concentrating on.
And I'm in another
lately. I do all the recruiting though, so I've just been really busy, like personally lately, and so I caught the first game today, but I completely missed the second, and that's the first game I've caught. And well, I watched last night when I got home really late, but
Last night didn't happen. That was a repeat. That was from a couple years ago.
Last night was actually a really good game. No, I was telling
Yeah.
John
Okay, the
that.
Braves
Like,
batsman
anybody that
game, too.
says that it wasn't a good game is talking out of their ass. It was a really, really good game last night, I thought.
It was.
And I'm not just saying that because we won. I
No,
thought
you're right.
It was a really good back and forth. Like, I'm
Right.
weird because I like when
Yeah.
you guys do well, because I like the competitiveness, and
Right.
actually
Yeah.
you're not bored if you have somebody to compete with. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't know, that first game today, I mean, I'm sitting there, of course it's pissing me off, but I feel like
Yeah.
that the ump was not giving Charlie the same calls as the Mets guy that was pitching.
Yeah.
I see, and I can give you 6 examples of when he did that to him. So it's like I can feel his frustration to an extent, but he's been struggling lately. But I think, you know, after he got his curve figured out, I think he's like going to come back next game and just be more of what he was, and just the competitor that we actually know him to be.
Right. Well, you know,
Which is a
Bassett
really
was
good
that game.
Bassett was getting squeezed bad last
Yeah.
night, and he had terrible ump calls. And
Yeah.
Morton was getting squeezed today, had terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Carrasco had a couple bad ones, but nothing like what Morton was going through today.
No,
He
Morton
was
got screwed.
outside the plate where his curve goes, and they were calling balls, and it was
Yeah.
it's frustrating.
At least,
And
he
I actually felt like
consistent with it,
Morton was
you know
going
what
to
I
settle
mean?
down,
Yeah.
but he never really did. I mean,
The
he
first
never
one
really.
was actually a good game too, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
There was a lot of
It was
good
a great game.
moments for both teams, and the Olsen 3-run home run was very exciting, and
That changed
Yeah.
everything.
yeah,
You know,
We
you got the
yeah.
feeling the Mets might
we
run away
almost
with it.
lost our lunch like usual.
Yeah.
Well, when
It's
we
funny.
lost that one run,
Yeah.
I was like, son of a bitch. But then I didn't fully expect, like, I have no idea what happened that second one. I mean, I was getting an alert every now and then, but my phone was on silent. So about that time, it says Mets 3-0, and Pete hits a home run, and I was like,
Right.
shit.
Do you? I heard
I'm
something
never
weird.
going to hear the end of it tonight. And
Wait,
did.
I said the same word, funny, but I said it a little differently.
I didn't realize that.
Tim, I don't know if you can hear us, but
Yeah,
you're
we can't
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can't hear you, Tim.
Yeah,
Tim, we can't hear
I
you.
couldn't get that, Tim.
No.
Yeah.
Well, Laura, in the meantime, Laura, I was going to say something that you said
Yeah.
about being excited for competition. The funny thing was, I liked
In a good
1973.
way.
I liked the Mets 1973 a lot more than I liked 86. Only because 73, well, besides being a much younger kid, getting to the World Series, we had basically a losing record. And we got there. We won at the very last game of the year. We made it to the playoffs, and there's no way we had any right being in the same playoff series with the Reds or the A's, and we took the A's to the limit. It was a very satisfying year because nobody predicted that we would be that good. Whereas in 86, it was quite the opposite. If we didn't win, and not only win, but if we didn't destroy them, then we were idiots because we had the greatest team in the world. We should beat everybody by 100.
It would have been a failure.
Yeah. So it was a little more interesting for me in 73 because there was competition and we weren't running away with things. So it was a little more exciting. So I get that. And I never want to run the division by 20 games. I want to win by 2 so that every game matters and it's exciting down to the wire, you know?
I tell John all the time, we can always spot these shitty bandwagon Braves fans that just find their way in there that we have to delete, because anybody that doesn't know the suffering we had at the first half of like the past 6 years is not a Braves fan, especially last season. And you can always tell who watches the games. I mean, I don't know. That shit right there is a pet peeve to me and John both, because it's like either you know your team or why the hell are you there? You know, it's really bothersome. So we do our best to weed out the shitty fans.
Well, you guys from like early 70s up until the mid '90s had nothing to write home about.
No.
You
It
had
was
terrible ownership
Mhm.
for the most part prior to Ted, and then even with Ted, and it was a nightmare of an organization. They would get 5 really good hitters and no pitching, or they would have 3 pitchers and no hitting. It was definitely like an all or nothing type of organization.
Yeah. I
Those
mean, I don't
'80s
take
Braves
any
teams
of this for
were
granted.
fun to watch.
Just know that
Yes.
I never take our winning for granted.
Right.
I've heard all the excuses. I've heard all the, I don't know how you can watch that shit. It's just cut it off. No, we're not.
Right.
I mean, and you being Mets fans, like, it's a hell of a lot of respect for you guys because you literally never win shit.
Right.
And there you are showing up every day.
It's true. It's true.
It is. We're
I said to Joey,
glad
right?
for punishment.
I said to Joey, there's 2 things as a Mets fan. That you have to be, right? You have to have resilience and be optimistic no matter what. And what was the other thing I said, Joe? You remember?
I was listening, and I don't know.
It was a lot of conversation ago. But the 2 things you also have to learn and have a great sense of humor.
Yes.
Because if you can't laugh with this team, good Lord, you're going to be lying down in front of the railroad tracks, halfway in April or May.
I talk John off the ledge a lot.
Yeah.
But he talked me off too.
When the Mets won the World Series in '86,
he did, because I was like, "Oh my gosh, John, this is like the hardest shit to watch." Because like I knew Freddie was leaving. Like I told everybody at the beginning of spring training last year, I said he's leaving. No bullshit, Laura. He's gonna say no. He wants to leave. He's leaving. I'm sorry. He's gone. Nobody listened to me and Richard, which he's a New Yorker, but he's a Braves fan.
Yeah.
So, he's a real smart guy. But no, we told him all season long he's not coming back. Well, I mean, it was painfully obvious, and it was like just watching something it's awkward, and you just cringe, and you're picking up on the subtleties and how other people didn't see that. I don't know. I think they weren't watching the same games. But then when they took the All-Star game, and it's like they laid down and died. And it was really hard to watch, but we're there every day. Me and Tim and Richard and Cecilia were there, and we're watching it. And John's like, no, come on. It's going to be all right, Laura. If we've got this. And he's like talking me off the ledge. So,
yeah.
And like I returned the favor for him, but it was like when we hit after the All-Star break, and I'm just the whole time I would even watch the All-Star game, just so pissed off about it. But I had told Evan, like, when it happened, I said, they're going to eat their damn words when the Braves come back and win it all. And he's like, bullshit. And I was like, it's going down. Which I was bullshitting because, like, hell, even I didn't believe it. Like, John was, like, having to tell me. But then, holy shit, y'all.
Well, it's funny.
Well,
my buddy said, if you put the Mets first half of the season together with the Braves last half of the season, what would you get? And I said the San Francisco Giants. Because the Giants did that the whole year, and they still couldn't. They collapsed in the playoffs.
Couldn't seal the deal. No.
Yeah.
Braves
What Laura's referring to there, really quickly. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Is that I had a private, quote unquote, conversation with a mutual friend at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Around the trade deadline.
Yep.
And of course, idiot that I was, a few beers, I told him what I believe to be the truth, but he is on the page. So then when the Braves won the World Series, it was like, yeah, John Keeney called this. He's the one that willed the Braves to the World Series. And I actually predicted that Bryce Harper would win MVP. I have to drink beer more often because I like speak all these truths that I don't want to believe. And I had to eat all and he never ceases to remind me of that. He was like, yeah, John Key, he should be, placing bets, listen to him. And of course it was all about the Braves. And I'm like, fuck you.
John wishes like hell he never said nothing.
I was like,
you need to drink, but you need to record yourself, dude. You need to drink, but you need to record yourself. That's the important thing.
That's the truth. Yeah.
It's
It was
funny.
fun.
He
It was
just won't
funny
let
though.
it die, and John's like, "Shut the hell up."
He keeps
Yeah.
tagging me. He kept tagging me
You're
in.
tagging.
Yeah, randomly. Even on his personal page, I'm like, oh my god, now it's on my personal page.
Yeah, it's on a personal one.
And I go down as a predicting that the Braves will win
Yeah.
the World Series. But I did. And honestly, it wasn't even just like predicting that out of my butt, but it was like, listen, to our friend, I was like, this is not over. This is not over. I know how the Braves are constructed. Yeah. And I knew, not that I knew that the Mets were smoke and mirrors, but I knew that they had issues. I did. And I said, I hope the Mets don't go away, but the Braves are getting stronger. I can see it. Let's see what moves. This was before they made the moves, because it literally was. I was actually, funnily enough, at Citizens Bank Ballpark watching the Phillies play the Nationals. Scherzer was pitching for the Nationals, even though they all knew he was gone that night. I believe it was July 31st, which is the trade deadline. And he was gone that night. We heard about all the reports about all the Nationals going to the Dodgers and all the deals. And then I was like, holy cow, I just said this earlier. Now it's looking like it's, and then I saw the Braves moves and I really liked them. And I liked the Baez move for the Mets too, but we all know how that turned out. But I just knew that the Braves were going to.
Look, if you would have told anyone that the Braves would win the World Series, I'm sorry,
stronger, they weren't going to go away. And of course, we all know what happened.
Well, if you would have told anyone the Braves would win the World Series without Acuna and without Ozuna,
I did. I said, well, I think my quote was like, watch them now, watch them. I think I was semi-sarcastic.
You're
breaking up, John. Can I just say how good Max is doing? Like, I have him on fantasy, and he is kicking ass.
Oh, yeah. By the way, they're interviewing Travis.
Earlier in the year, I wouldn't. I think I just said, watch them now.
John, you're breaking up totally. We can't hear you.
All right, folks. I want to thank everyone for showing up tonight.
John,
Laura, I think. What's that?
Yeah.
Both of you guys are breaking up.
Well,
all right. I want to thank everyone for appearing tonight. We've been on the air 47 minutes, but let's try to make this a habit. Every time the Braves and Mets play, they actually have another doubleheader coming up in August, and there's a good chance that I'll be with Tim that weekend.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to make a formal announcement in the next couple months or so. But my goal is to be in New York in August for either the 6th or the 13th. And then I'll try to see everybody at some point in the next couple of years. We'll make a trip down to Atlanta and see Laura, make it out to California, see David. But I want to thank you guys for appearing tonight. And
hey, Joe,
Laura,
is it true we get
one more bird? What's that?
Joe, is it true we get Turtle Wax car care kits for appearing tonight? Is that what our prize is?
Actually, everyone tonight receives a T-shirt either in the past or the future. The shirt that David's wearing, Tim has his shirt. Laura's getting her shirt Thursday. Is when I'll be mailing it. So everyone that appears on the Mets Braves doubleheader show either buys or is gifted a Utopia Baseball Universe T-shirt for appearing on the show.
How about a Casio watch? I mean, come on, give me something here. Come on.
Let's see. I've got a collection of. I've got some Sharpies.
There you go.
I've got. Oh, these are pretty cool. These are from McDonald's from 1982.
Yep.
The American League champions.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
that's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I want to actually keep these. These are 40 years old. I want to get these framed at some point. So, thank you guys for appearing tonight. We'll do it again soon. Laura, one more time. Give us that finger. There we go.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, guys.
Hey, Joe,
And
real
toilet
quick.
paper.
Joe, real quick.
Yeah.
In 3 weeks, we will be IPOing Trevor McGill.
There you go.
Nice.
Just
401
put it out there for Mets
Sports,
fans.
baby. All right. Everyone have a great night. And I don't even know what day today is. Tuesday?
Tuesday the 3rd.
Tuesday the 3rd. Okay. So no trivia tomorrow. We're going to return. Trivia is going to be next Wednesday. We're going to have the Tigers and Pirates, Matt Derby and Jamie Howell. Everyone have a great night, and we'll see you guys soon.
And Tim, you're forgiven.
All right.